Stop being the nice woman. You've heard it before, haven't you? That idea that being nice, being kind, being selfless is somehow a virtue. Society has shaped us to believe that the key to success, happiness, and fulfillment is found in endless generosity, in always putting others first, in never stepping on anyone's toes or standing out too much. It tells you that being the nice woman is a noble pursuit, that you should give, 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 and never expect anything in return. But what if I told you that being the nice woman isn't the answer? What if I told you that this mindset is holding you back, locking you into a cycle of dissatisfaction and frustration? There's a lie that has been sold to women for generations, and it's time we confront it. The lie is this, that your value is measured by how much you can sacrifice for others. The lie is that you are somehow obligated to be the ever-giving, ever-understanding, always patient person, while everyone else walks over you, takes advantage of your kindness, and leaves you with nothing but exhaustion and disappointment. Being the nice woman is a concept that has been deeply ingrained in society. From a young age, women are often taught that kindness, selflessness, and the constant need to put others first are the hallmarks of their identity. They are taught that by being nice, by being the one who always says yes, who always gives, who always supports, they will be loved, appreciated, and accepted. But this idea is not only limiting, it is also profoundly harmful. The nice woman is trapped in a cycle of self-sacrifice and unacknowledged needs, always seeking validation through giving without ever receiving anything in return. It's time to recognize that this so-called virtue is a trap, and it's time to break free. The idea of the nice woman suggests that your worth is tied to how much you can give to others. You might feel obligated to make everyone around you happy, to be the peacekeeper, to always put others' needs above your own, and to avoid causing any conflict. But while these actions may seem noble on the surface, they often come at a cost: your emotional, mental, and physical well-being. You end up so focused on meeting the expectations of others that you forget about your own needs, your own dreams, and your own happiness. The problem is, by adhering to the idea of the nice woman, you start to lose your sense of self. You become defined by your ability to serve, to please, and to be the one who never disappoints. Over time, this can lead to feelings of resentment, exhaustion, and frustration, because while you're constantly giving, you are rarely receiving. You give your time, your energy, your care, and your love, but often there's no acknowledgement of the toll it takes on you. In fact, when you constantly put yourself last, it can lead to a sense of emptiness, as though you've given so much of yourself that you don't even know who you are anymore. The idea that being nice is a virtue is not only outdated, but it also fails to empower you as a woman. It teaches you to seek approval and validation from others by always conforming to their needs, rather than valuing yourself for who you truly are. When you focus solely on pleasing everyone around you, you become disconnected from your own desires, goals, and aspirations. You start to prioritize the happiness of others over your own, and while this may seem selfless, it ultimately leads to self-neglect. In fact, being the nice woman can often mean tolerating things that are damaging to you. You might let people walk all over you, take advantage of your kindness, and manipulate your willingness to please. You avoid conflict at all costs, and as a result, you suppress your true feelings, your boundaries, and your voice. But in doing so, you build a life that is based on what others want, rather than on what you need and deserve. This behavior keeps you in a perpetual state of unfulfilled longing, because no matter how much you give, you will never receive enough validation or appreciation to fill the void you feel inside. The problem with being the nice woman is that you lose sight of your own worth. You begin to measure your value based on how much you can give to others, but you forget that you have inherent value that is not contingent on your ability to constantly serve. Your worth isn't found in being the person who never says no, who always gives, and who constantly puts others first. Your worth is found in embracing your individuality, your passions, and your boundaries, and in recognizing that it's okay to prioritize your own needs and desires. When you stop being the nice woman, you stop seeking validation through giving and start valuing yourself for who you truly are. You begin to understand that your worth is not defined by your ability to make others happy, but by your authenticity, your strength, and your ability to set boundaries that protect your peace. You reclaim the power to say no when necessary, to stand up for yourself, and to focus on your own goals and dreams without feeling guilty for doing so. It's only by stopping the cycle of people-pleasing and self-sacrifice that you can truly begin to live a life that is fulfilling, balanced, and true to who you are. Reclaiming your power is an essential step in breaking free from the trap of being the nice woman. For too long, women have been conditioned to believe that their value comes from how much they can give, how much they can sacrifice, and how much they can please others. But this mindset creates an imbalance where your worth becomes entangled with the needs and expectations of others, and you lose sight of your own power. The truth is that your strength, your confidence, and your sense of self-worth should not be dependent on external validation, but on your own recognition of your value. When you stop being the nice woman, you begin to take back control of your life and start living with purpose and intention. Reclaiming your power means recognizing that you are the author of your own story. For years, you may have allowed others to dictate your choices, your actions, and your sense of self. You might have lived your life based on what you thought others expected from you or how you could best meet their needs. But when you begin to put yourself first and stop constantly catering to others, you take the first step toward true empowerment. You stop letting the opinions and demands of others define your worth, and you begin to create your own narrative. Your power lies in the realization that you don't need to seek approval from anyone to know your value. It's about understanding that you are enough just as you are, and you deserve to live a life that is fulfilling, authentic, and aligned with your own desires. When you reclaim your power, you also reclaim your choices. No longer do you feel obligated to say yes to everything just to avoid disappointing others or to be liked. Instead, you start making decisions based on what feels right for you, what aligns with your values and goals, and what serves your own well-being. This shift in mindset is incredibly liberating because it frees you from the burden of constantly trying to meet the expectations of others. You begin to trust your intuition and believe that your voice matters. You start making choices that empower you, whether that means setting boundaries, saying no, or walking away from situations that no longer serve you. This newfound sense of autonomy is a powerful step in taking back your life and your energy. Reclaiming your power also involves letting go of the need for external validation. For too long, you may have sought approval from others in order to feel worthy or accepted, but true empowerment comes from within. When you stop seeking validation from the outside world and start recognizing your worth internally, you stop relying on others to make you feel good about yourself. You learn to validate your own feelings, to celebrate your own achievements, and to trust in your own abilities. This internal source of strength is what will propel you forward in life and give you the confidence to pursue your dreams without hesitation. As you begin to reclaim your power, you also develop a deeper sense of self-respect. When you value yourself and recognize your own worth, you stop tolerating disrespect, mistreatment, or manipulation from others. You understand that you deserve to be treated with kindness, respect, and consideration, and you no longer allow people to take advantage of your generosity or kindness. This self-respect becomes the foundation upon which you build healthier relationships, stronger boundaries, and a more fulfilling life. You start to attract people who value you for who you truly are, rather than for what you can do for them. This shift in how you view yourself also shifts how others perceive you. No longer are you seen as someone who can be easily exploited or walked over. Instead, you become a woman who commands respect and admiration for her strength, independence, and self-worth. Ultimately, reclaiming your power is about taking ownership of your life and your future. It's about realizing that you have the ability to shape your own destiny, to take control of your circumstances, and to create the life you want. When you stop being the nice woman, you stop living for others and start living for yourself. You stop allowing fear, guilt, or the desire to please others to dictate your actions, and you begin to take bold steps toward your own happiness and fulfillment. You trust yourself to make the right choices, knowing that your intuition, your strength, and your values will guide you toward the life you deserve. By reclaiming your power, you begin to live authentically and unapologetically. embracing the woman you were always meant to be. Setting healthy boundaries is one of the most powerful ways to reclaim your life from the cycle of being the nice woman. For too long, women have been conditioned to believe that in order to be loved, liked, or accepted, they must always be available, always say yes, and always put others first. But this mindset creates a pattern of overcommitting, overextending, and ultimately depleting yourself emotionally, physically, and mentally. Boundaries are not about shutting people out. They are about creating the space you need to protect your time, your energy, and your well-being. When you learn to set healthy boundaries, you begin to prioritize yourself and your needs, which in turn allows you to show up as the best version of yourself in all areas of your life. Boundaries allow you to protect your time and energy. As a nice woman, you might find yourself constantly saying yes to requests, whether from friends, family, or coworkers, even when it means neglecting your own needs. You might feel guilty about saying no or fear disappointing others, so you end up sacrificing your time and energy for the sake of others' comfort. But this constant giving without receiving leads to burnout and frustration. By setting boundaries, you begin to reclaim your time and energy, ensuring that you have enough left for the things that truly matter to you. When you set clear limits on what you're willing to do for others, you free yourself from the trap of overcommitting and start making space for your own goals, passions, and self-care. Setting boundaries is also about recognizing your limits and honoring them. It's about understanding that you are only human, and that you cannot do everything for everyone all the time. A healthy boundary means recognizing when you're at capacity and allowing yourself to say no without guilt or fear. This might mean saying no to a request that doesn't align with your values, turning down an invitation when you need time for yourself, or politely declining to take on a responsibility that will overwhelm you. By setting these limits, you show yourself the respect you deserve and create the necessary space to focus on your own needs. It's not selfish to honor your limits. It's necessary for maintaining your well-being. In addition to protecting your time and energy, boundaries are also about fostering self-respect. When you constantly say yes to others at the expense of your own needs, you send the message that your own time, feelings, and well-being aren't as important as those of others. This erodes your sense of self-respect and can lead to feelings of resentment and frustration. However, when you set boundaries and say no when necessary, you reinforce the message that you value yourself and your needs. You communicate that you deserve respect and that your time and energy are precious. This shift in perspective not only improves how you feel about yourself, but also changes how others treat you. People are more likely to respect your boundaries when they see that you are serious about protecting your time and energy. Setting boundaries also helps you cultivate more meaningful and balanced relationships. When you are constantly giving without limits, you attract people who are used to taking advantage of your kindness and generosity. These relationships often become one-sided, with you doing all the giving and the other person taking without reciprocating. However, when you set boundaries, you send a clear message that you won't tolerate being taken advantage of. You start to attract people who value you for who you are, not just for what you can do for them. Boundaries create the space for healthier, more reciprocal relationships where both parties contribute and respect each other's needs. Learning to set healthy boundaries is a skill that takes time and practice. It requires you to be honest with yourself about what you need and to be willing to advocate for yourself. It means being comfortable with discomfort at times, as saying no can feel difficult or guilt-inducing, especially if you were used to being the nice woman. But the more you practice setting boundaries, the easier it becomes. You begin to realize that setting boundaries is not about being rude or unkind. It's about taking care of yourself so that you can show up as the best version of yourself for others. When you prioritize your own well-being and establish clear boundaries, you become more confident, more energized, and better equipped to handle the demands of life without sacrificing your peace of mind. By setting healthy boundaries, you create the foundation for a life that is not only more balanced, but also more aligned with your true desires and values. When you stop being the nice woman, you open yourself up to attracting the right people into your life. People who respect you, support your goals, and encourage your growth. For far too long, women have been taught to be constantly agreeable, to put others first, and to keep the peace at all costs. While these traits may seem admirable on the surface, They can often lead to attracting people who take advantage of your kindness, manipulate your willingness to please, and leave you feeling emotionally drained. However, when you shift away from being the nice woman and start prioritizing your own needs and well-being, you begin to attract relationships that are more fulfilling, authentic, and balanced. The shift is subtle, but its impact is profound. It transforms not only how you see yourself, but also how others perceive and treat you. By no longer conforming to the idea of always being nice, you begin to show up in the world as your true self. You stop pretending to be someone you're not in order to fit into a mold or meet external expectations. When you embrace your authentic self, you naturally begin to attract people who resonate with you on a deeper level. These are the people who appreciate you for who you truly are, not for what you can do for them or how well you meet their needs. When you stop pretending to be the nice woman who always puts everyone else first, you invite real connections that are based on mutual respect, honesty, and shared values. You stop attracting people who are only interested in taking from you, and instead, you begin to form relationships with those who genuinely want to see you succeed and grow. The right people are those who value your time, energy, and boundaries. When you stop being the nice woman who says yes to everything, you set the stage for healthier relationships. You stop tolerating disrespect or manipulation, and in doing so, you teach others how to treat you. By setting clear boundaries and refusing to tolerate toxic behavior, you signal to others that you expect to be treated with respect. As a result, you begin to attract people who are capable of honoring your boundaries and who understand the importance of reciprocity in relationships. No longer do you have to settle for relationships that drain you or leave you feeling undervalued. Instead, you surround yourself with individuals who respect your time, support your ambitions, and bring positivity into your life. Attracting the right people also means that you start to surround yourself with those who inspire you and push you toward growth. When you stop focusing on pleasing everyone, you become more selective about the people you allow into your life. You no longer feel obligated to stay in relationships that hold you back or keep you stuck. Instead, you seek out connections that inspire you to be better, to dream bigger, and to pursue your goals with passion and purpose. These are the people who challenge you, who encourage you to step outside your comfort zone, and who celebrate your successes. By attracting these kinds of people, you set yourself up for a life filled with growth, achievement, and fulfillment. Moreover, as you stop being the nice woman and start embracing your true self, you become a magnet for authenticity. The more authentic you are, the more likely you are to attract others who are also genuine and real. When you're no longer playing a role or pretending to be something you're not, you give others permission to do the same. You create an environment where people can be their true selves, free from the pressure to conform to societal expectations. This authenticity creates deeper connections, as people are drawn to your honesty, your vulnerability, and your ability to be real without fear of judgment. In turn, this authenticity fosters stronger, more meaningful relationships that are rooted in trust and mutual understanding. Additionally, attracting the right people is not just about who you invite into your life, but also about who you become in the process. When you stop being the nice woman and begin prioritizing your own needs, you step into your own power. You become more confident, more assertive, and more intentional about the relationships you cultivate. This shift in mindset not only helps you attract the right people, but it also empowers you to build the life you've always wanted. One filled with supportive, loving, and empowering relationships that encourage your personal growth. As you become more intentional about the people you surround yourself with, you build a network of individuals who are aligned with your values, your dreams, and your purpose. These are the people who will walk with you on your journey, who will uplift you during difficult times, and who will celebrate your successes with you. When you stop being the nice woman, you stop settling for less than you deserve, and in doing so, you begin to attract relationships that are not only fulfilling, but also transformative. When you stop being the nice woman, you begin to cultivate a deep sense of self-love and self-acceptance that is essential for your growth and well-being. For too long, women have been taught that their value lies in how much they give to others, how much they sacrifice, and how much they can tolerate. The nice woman often puts her own needs on the back burner in favor of others, believing that selflessness is virtuous and that her worth is determined by what she does for others. However, this mindset comes at a cost, often leaving her feeling empty, undervalued, and disconnected from her true self. Stopping the cycle of always being nice is a crucial step in reconnecting with your own worth and learning to love and accept yourself fully. Self-love is the foundation upon which everything else in your life is built. When you stop being the nice woman, you begin to prioritize your own needs and desires. You stop seeking validation from others and start validating yourself. Instead of relying on the approval or acceptance of others to feel good about yourself, you begin to recognize your own value, and this recognition becomes a source of inner strength. By shifting your focus from constantly giving to others to caring for yourself first, you create the space needed to nurture your body, mind, and spirit. This act of self-care is not selfish, it's an act of self-respect and a necessary step in building a life that is fulfilling and aligned with your own values and goals. When you stop being the nice woman who constantly sacrifices her own happiness for others, you begin to realize that your needs matter just as much as everyone else's. You begin to make choices that reflect your own desires and well-being. This shift in mindset allows you to stop living for others and start living for yourself. You learn that it's okay to say no when something doesn't align with your values or when it takes away from your own happiness. You begin to set boundaries that protect your emotional, physical, and mental space. This is where true self-love begins, when you stop compromising your own well-being to please others. It's about honoring your own worth and believing that you deserve to be treated with kindness, respect, and consideration. Self-acceptance also plays a crucial role in the process of letting go of the nice woman persona. Too often, women try to meet impossible standards of perfection, believing that only by being perfect can they earn love and respect. But the truth is that no one is perfect, and striving for perfection only leads to frustration, anxiety, and self-doubt. When you stop being the nice woman, you release the need for perfection and start embracing your flaws, your mistakes, and your unique qualities. You understand that you are worthy of love and respect, not because you are perfect, but because you are authentic and true to yourself. By accepting yourself fully, including your imperfections, you create a sense of peace and confidence that radiates from within. This self-acceptance is the key to building a life where you feel empowered, valued, and at peace with who you are. As you stop being the nice woman, you also start to forgive yourself for the times when you have put others before yourself, for the times when you have neglected your own needs in favor of keeping the peace or being liked. Self-forgiveness is an essential part of the healing process. It's about letting go of the guilt and shame that come from feeling like you failed to meet others' expectations. When you forgive yourself, you release the negative emotions that hold you back and free yourself to step into the next phase of your life with confidence and grace. This forgiveness is not about excusing past behavior, but about acknowledging that you are human, that you have made mistakes, and that you are worthy of moving forward without carrying the weight of past regrets. By cultivating self-love and self-acceptance, you empower yourself to live a life that is true to your own values and desires. No longer do you need to rely on others for your sense of worth or happiness. Instead, you become the source of your own strength, confidence, and peace. This inner transformation is profound because it shifts your entire perspective on life. When you love and accept yourself, you stop seeking validation from the outside world, and instead, you begin to attract people, opportunities, and experiences that align with your true self. Self-love and self-acceptance are the keys to living a life of fulfillment, authenticity, and peace, where you are no longer bound by the need to please others and where your happiness comes from within. When you stop being the nice woman, you begin to discover the power of saying no and the immense freedom that comes with it. For far too long, women have been socialized to believe that saying yes is the path to acceptance, approval, and love. Saying yes to every request, every favor, and every responsibility becomes a way to prove their worthiness. However, this habit of constantly saying yes often leaves women overwhelmed, exhausted, and resentful, and it prevents them from living a life that is aligned with their true desires and goals. The ability to say no is not just a tool for creating boundaries, it is a radical act of self-respect, empowerment, and personal freedom. Learning to say no is essential for reclaiming your time, your energy, and your life. When you begin to say no, you start to take control of your life in a way that is empowering. Saying no is not a rejection of others, but a declaration that you are in charge of your own life and decisions. Each time you say no, you are making a choice that reflects your values, priorities, and needs. You are deciding that your time, energy, and well-being are more important than pleasing others or meeting their expectations. The more you practice saying no, the more you begin to reclaim your power. You no longer feel obligated to say yes to every request or invitation that comes your way. Instead, you become more intentional with your choices, choosing only the things that truly align with your purpose and goals. Saying no empowers you to focus on what truly matters to you and allows you to eliminate the distractions and obligations that drain your energy. Learning to say no also helps you establish healthy boundaries with others. As a nice woman, you might have been conditioned to believe that saying yes is a way to keep the peace, avoid conflict, or ensure that people like you. However, constantly saying yes can create imbalanced relationships where others take advantage of your generosity and willingness to help. By saying no, you send a clear message that you have limits and that your time and energy are valuable. Saying no is a way of teaching others how to treat you. It's a way of asserting your needs and showing that you deserve respect, not because of what you do for others, but because of who you are. When you set these boundaries, you create space for healthier, more balanced relationships where both parties contribute and respect each other's needs. Saying no is also a form of self-care. When you constantly say yes to others at the expense of your own needs, you are neglecting your own well-being. You may find yourself overwhelmed, burnt out, and emotionally drained. Saying no allows you to put yourself first and make decisions that prioritize your health, happiness, and peace of mind. It's a way of saying that your needs matter just as much as anyone else's. When you say no, you make space for the things that bring you joy, relaxation, and fulfillment. This is not selfishness, it's an act of self-love and self-preservation. By practicing the art of saying no, you are taking care of your mental, emotional, and physical health, which ultimately makes you more present and effective in your relationships and other areas of life. Moreover, saying no opens up opportunities for you to focus on your own personal growth and goals. When you stop overcommitting to others, you create the time and energy necessary to pursue your passions, develop your skills, and achieve your dreams. You are no longer spread too thin or constantly distracted by the demands of others. Instead, you can direct your energy towards the things that are truly important to you, whether that's building your career, working on your health, nurturing your creative pursuits, or investing in your personal development. Saying no gives you the freedom to design your life in a way that is authentic and aligned with your true desires. Saying no also strengthens your confidence. As you practice saying no and making choices that reflect your values, you begin to trust yourself more. You begin to believe in your ability to make decisions that are in your best interest. Over time, this builds a sense of self-assurance that is rooted in the understanding that you are capable of taking control of your life and shaping your future. This newfound confidence spills over into other areas of your life, helping you become more assertive in pursuing what you want and less concerned with seeking validation from others. Ultimately, saying no allows you to embrace your own power and potential. It is a liberating act that enables you to stop being the nice woman who always says yes to please others and start being the woman who says yes to herself. It is an essential tool for creating a life that is fulfilling, authentic, and true to your values. When you learn to say no, you stop living for others and start living for yourself, paving the way for a life of purpose, joy, and true freedom.